Je, unajua unaweza chukua bima ya maisha ili kusaidia familia yako na unaowapenda iwapo watapatwa na msiba usiotarajia kama vile kifo au ugonjwa? Chukua bima ya maisha na uhakikishe familia yako ina maisha bora siku za usoni. Bima ya maisha hukusaidia kuweka akiba ambayo hulipwa ikishapevuka. Sasa umejua, IRA, bima bora kwa taifa.
Hii ni KBC Radio Taifa.
Kila kitu maishani kina sauti yaleta furaha.
Radio.
Sauti ya elimisha, yahimiza, yatuleta pamoja. Sauti ya Kenya.
Radio Taifa.
Is uncertain. Even if your regular income has been affected, you can still talk to your insurance service provider and convert your policy to a paid-up policy. You will not be required to pay further premiums, and your insurer will still be liable for the benefits payable under this option. Now you know. IRA, promoting insurance, protecting the insured. Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
A dying person will never lie! And one accomplice of these conspirators, Helena, told me everything while counting her last breath, Father!
The truth is that I sowed the seeds of hatred and envy in Justin. It was my wish to see the crown on his head.
I will give birth to this child only when Ashok will be present. You are putting your life along with the child's life in danger. Call Ashok. Just call Ashok. Ashok.
A very good afternoon to you. 5 days into the new month of May, the year 2021. We are so glad that you created time to join us as we are just about to inform you on the latest in Kenya and beyond borders. It's a busy day as our country's President Uhuru Kenyatta is hosting Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan on her 2-day state visit. On this second day, earlier in the morning, and we covered that live for you right here on KBC Channel 1, they both addressed a joint business forum that has brought together the Kenya and Tanzania business community. Right now in the afternoon, they are scheduled scheduled to be addressing a joint sitting of Parliament. Still, we'll be crossing over there and covering that for you as well. Plus, we're also tracking the search for a Supreme Court judge in the country. Lined up today are 3 candidates who are facing the Judicial Service Commission panel. A lot lined up for you in this comprehensive news bulletin. We got details of those stories, among others, that our news team has been working on for you. So do stand by for those and much more. My name is Serfine Achieng Ouma, and our sign language interpreter is Lensa Odingo. And we want to kickstart straight away, and we want to take you straight to Parliament and get a quick reaction and also expectations ahead of this visit by Tanzania President Samia Suluhu Hassan. We got our reporter Kevin Washira, who has been there for us just to give us a quick preview of what is to be expected. And you know, how special is this particular address by a visiting head of state to Parliament? What are some of the issues that we should be expecting in terms of even the protocol? A very good afternoon, Washira. You can now take it away and bring us up to speed with what we need to know about this planned address.
Thank you very much, Safin. I'm standing outside National Assembly building where President Uhuru Kenyatta is expected to come here with President Samia Suluhu of United Republic of Tanzania to address a joint sitting of both houses, that is the National Assembly and the Senate. This sitting is a special sitting whereby the President Samia Suluhu is expected to brief Parliament on policies that both countries, Kenya and Tanzania, should develop in the endeavor to cement relationship ties between the two countries. You remember very well that the President Samia Suluhu yesterday at State House indicated that her main mission is to build and to strengthen economic relations between the two countries, that is Kenya and Tanzania. And this afternoon, the two presidents will be addressing members of Parliament with regards to these policies that are supposed to make business easy to ease the form of doing business between the two countries. You remember very well that her predecessor, the late President John Pombe Magufuli, had brought policies that were not so friendly to Kenya. You remember that a while ago we saw doing business in Tanzania, business people complaining that it was becoming difficult, and there is need to improve the relationship between the two countries so that the economy of the two neighboring countries can improve. And now I'm joined by a member of Parliament, MP for MATUNGU, who will be telling us on their expectations as members of Parliament in this afternoon speech. Mheshimiwa, karibu. Now, Mheshimiwa, what are your expectations with regards to this afternoon sitting, whereby President Samia Suluhu and President Uhuru Kenyatta will be briefing the National Assembly and the Senate on building and strengthening economic relations between Kenya and Tanzania?
Thank you, Mary. First of all, I would like to congratulate the two leaders of these two important countries for their thoughtfulness of coming together, working out how the two countries can work together in terms of trade, opening up our trade opportunities and good relations between the two countries. And I take this opportunity to congratulate Her Excellency Suluhu for being the first woman president of Tanzania. And that is an achievement for the women of Africa. And I congratulate her and welcome her to Kenya, our country, and Nairobi, our city. And I also welcome her to Parliament, the legislative arm of the government. The expectation of today, the members of Parliament are expecting to see policies that are geared towards opening up the trade between the two countries, cooperation between the two countries in terms of trade, in terms of social life, and in terms of so many other avenues in which the two countries can cooperate. As you can realize, initially, maybe in the last few years, Kenya and Tanzania have had cold, warm relationship, and it is time that the two leaders now take a lead to bring the two countries together, to coexist as brothers and sisters in this era of hardship. As you know, Kenya and Tanzania are neighbors. We share so much in terms of language. The language they speak in Tanzania is the same language we speak in Kenya. The trade between Kenya and Tanzania has existed even before independence, and it's time now to make it even better. We have had problems with some of our people from Kenya to Tanzania, where there has been a problem with work permits. I think from today, when the two leaders come together, that is one of the issues that we would like to hear, that the cooperation between the two countries will enable the processing of the work permits smoother and swifter between for the people who wish to work in Tanzania and those who wish to work in Kenya from either of the two countries. Therefore, we are expecting that to be addressed. We are also expecting the trade policies to be reviewed, to be more friendly, so that Kenyans can do more trade in Tanzania and Tanzania can do more trade in Kenya, and even the Kenyan government can do more trade with the Tanzanian government. And in terms of infrastructure, we are also expecting, other than that pipeline that has already been agreed upon from Dar es Salaam to Mombasa, we want to see more infrastructural development cooperation between the two countries, because we relate very closely. There are so much we share between Tanzania and Kenya. So therefore, we need to see more roads. We need to see more roads from Kenya to Tanzania. We need to see more airlines flying from Nairobi to Dar es Salaam and Dar es Salaam to Nairobi. And other parts of Tanzania like Zanzibar, Dodoma, in terms of tourism. The Kenya and Tanzania share tourism, like the Serengeti extends all the way to Tanzania and all the way to Kenya, the Mara, and so many other things. So there is need that the two leaders will address the issues relating to tourism also, so that Kenya and Tanzania can relate well in terms of that. And lastly, in terms of management of COVID-19, this COVID-19 is a global threat, and not only for Kenya and Tanzania. And therefore, the two leaders coming together, we need to see what are the plans of these two governments to address COVID-19, the challenges of COVID-19, how it has affected the economy, and how are they going to revamp that economy that has been affected by the COVID-19. And how is Tanzania expected to come in strongly and address the COVID-19 issues?
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. That is a sentiment of Matungu MP, Honorable Peter Oscar Nabulindo, on his expectations with regards to afternoon sitting whereby President Samia Suluhu of United Republic of Tanzania and President Uhuru Kenyatta are expected to address a joint sitting of National Assembly and the Senate. Those are the expectations. We will be giving you live broadcast from Parliament, live on KBC, so we can get to hear the real story from the two presidents. Back to you, Serfine.
Thank you so much, Kevin Wachira, for that update that is coming ahead of the bicameral address by President Uhuru Kenyatta and Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan. It should be taking place in the afternoon, and we'll be bringing you live pictures of that when it happens. This is coming just moments after they have just addressed a joint business forum at Serena Hotel, and he was speaking to MATUNGU Member of Parliament Peter Nabulindo about the expectations. Now, we want to cross over and also take you to follow up on the interviews that are ongoing to seek the judge of the Supreme Court, and currently being interviewed is Justice Sergeant Joseph Kiplagat. Let's just listen into how this interview is currently taking shape, and then we'll come back and update you on more news. Pictures you're seeing there is, a representation of the panel by the Judicial Service Commission, and they are just currently interviewing Justice Sergeant Joseph Kiplagat, who is among the 7 candidates who were shortlisted for this particular position. Already interviewed from Mondays, Justice Chitembwe Said Juma, Justice Marete Njagi, Justice Nduma Matthews Nderi, Dr. Nyaberi Justri Patrick Lumumba, and today they were supposed to be interviewing 3 candidates who are Justice Ouko William Okello was interviewed in the morning, and of course an interview currently underway. Justice Joseph Kiplagat in the afternoon. They will be interviewing Ms. Yano Jepkoech as they seek the next judge of the Supreme Court. We will be giving you details about this as well. Now, going back to the state visit by Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan. Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan says her visit to Kenya is aimed at cementing historical friendship and brotherhood that exists between the people of the neighboring countries. Speaking during a state banquet hosted in her honor by President Uhuru Kenyatta and First Lady Margaret Kenyatta, the Tanzanian head of state said she intends to strengthen historical ties that exist between the two countries, especially in economic cooperation.
President Samia said during their private talks with President Kenyatta, they agreed on the need to create a conducive environment for the private sector to thrive and participate fully in economic development.
Nimeamua kuja Kenya kuhakikishia ndugu zetu wa Kenya katika kipindi changu cha uongozi nitaendeleza uhusiano na ushirikiano wetu hususan kwenye nyanja za kiuchumi. Kama mnavyofahamu, kwenye dunia ya sasa uhusiano baina ya mataifa umejikita zaidi kwenye masuala ya kiuchumi.
President Suluhu expressed gratitude to the government and the citizens of Kenya for standing with Tanzania when the country lost its 5th president, the late John Pombe Magufuli.
Tarehe 17 nchi yetu tulipata msiba mkubwa sana, lakini kaka yetu alikuwa nasi kila hatua ambayo tumepiga. Lakini sio peke yake, hata wa Kenya pia tulikuwa tunapokea message nyingi sana kutoka Kenya za pole, wanasema Magufuli wetu amefariki.
President Suluhu said the decision by President Kenyatta to attend the state funeral of the late President Magufuli was a sign of true brotherhood which demonstrated care and love for Tanzania.
Lakini haitoshi, alipokuja kwenye msiba akaniambia Samia, huna sababu ya kushindwa kuendesha hii nchi kwa sababu umelelewa vizuri, umekaa na Magufuli vizuri, ulikuwa unajua nini anafanya na mambo yote umeyajua kama makamu wa rais. Umejengwa vizuri, kilichobaki beba nchi, nenda mbele. Na mimi nakuahidi kaka, kwa ule moyo ulionipa na hili ulilolifanya leo, tutabeba nchi pamoja tuende mbele.
She said her other reason for visiting Kenya was to introduce herself, saying Kenya was among the first countries to recognize her as president after she was sworn in following the death of her predecessor. President Kenyatta assured the Tanzanian president that Kenya will continue to work with Tanzania to achieve the vision of full regional integration held by East Africa's founding fathers.
Na mimi sina shaka ya kwamba dada yetu Rais Samia Suluhu ataendelea na ule msimamo wa marais ambao wamemtangulia, kama vile mimi nitaendelea na ule msimamo wa wale pia wamenitangulia mimi, ya kuimarisha uhusiano wetu, biashara kati ya wananchi wetu, na njia zote za kuhakikisha ya kwamba undugu wa taifa hizi zetu mbili utakuwa undugu wa kudumu.
President Kenyatta thanked the Tanzania head of state for accepting his invitation, saying her gesture demonstrated her desire to continue improving and strengthening good neighborliness. Beatrice GATUANYAGA, Channel 1 News.
That is how it was as the country was welcoming Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan. She is expected to be addressing a joint sitting of Parliament this afternoon. Apologies, President Uhuru Kenyatta will not be attending this particular session, but President Samia Suluhu Hassan will be the one who is going to address this joint sitting in the afternoon. We'll be bringing you live pictures of that when it happens. Now, families that were recently evicted from a 17-acre parcel of land in Nangeni, MATUNGU constituency have called on the government to intervene in the matter. The families, which are currently being housed in a mosque in the area, say they have lived in the disputed land for over 75 years. They have accused a local leader of taking claim over the parcel of land without producing valid documents.
Njia kutoka kuenda kwa shamba ambalo walitumwa katika hili karatasi na kujipata kwa shamba ambalo silo.
Watoto wako hapa, wako nje, mvua inawapiga, wanalia, njaa, tuna mablanketi, tuna chakula yote walikanyagia chini, mahindi, kila kitu. Tukapomolewa manyumba, hatujui ni kwa nini. Hii shamba haijauzwa. Tangu nikae hapa hii shamba haijauzwa. Sasa wakati huu tunahangaika na watoto. Ni mwezi wa Ramadhani, hata tukuli usiku hata mchana.
President wetu Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, tuangalie na utujulie hali.
And now to Nyandarua County, where a section of Nyandarua County Assembly members have vowed to continue locking out embattled County Assembly Speaker Ndegwa Wahome out of the County Assembly precincts despite him being reinstated by the High Court last week. The MCAs claim they no longer recognize Wahome as their substantive speaker, having impeached him over gross misconduct. Have a look.
Even after the High Court sitting in Nakuru gave Nyandarua Speaker Ndegwa Wahome some respite, the embattled speaker continues to be an isolated man, a section of MCAs declaring him persona non grata in the precincts of the Assembly. The speaker had arrived at the gate of the Assembly in Olkalau, armed with a court order and ready to resume his duties. But the MCAs led by Deputy Speaker Zachary Njeru and Leader of Majority Edinald Wambugu Kingori had other ideas, denying him entry and vowing to continue doing so as they no longer recognize him as a substantive speaker.
Wahome ni wakili na anajua sheria, aweze kutafsiri sheria ipasavyo, na kama vilivyo nimesema ya kwamba kwa 172B iko very clear. Hiyo maneno ingine anasema koti iko hapo itaweza kutafsiri hiyo maneno ingine, lakini hatutamruhusu kuingilia usalama, kuingilia utenda kazi ama kusubua hawa wajumbe, na kwa ujumla bunge la Nyandarua.
We the majority, we challenge the court's decision for the reason that county assemblies are autonomous legislative entities and the judiciary can only intervene by reviewing laws passed or procedures that have gone through the legislative organs.
The leader of majority vowing that they would impeach Speaker Ndegwa once more if the courts insisted on bringing him back to preside over the affairs of a county assembly.
We want to assure Nyandarua County residents that despite the ruling against the will of the majority, the assembly's operations and sitting will continue peacefully as they did in the month of March and April. This is because Wahome Ndegwa will be impeached again procedurally and through a fresh motion on new charges contained in a fresh notice of motion for his impeachment.
Former Speaker Bwana Wahome ni sisi tulimchagua, ni mfanyikazi wetu, na sisi hata kama itahitajika kumtoa mara 1000 tuko tayari kumtoa, na asilete wananchi ama viongozi wengine kwa hii maneno ama kwa hii vita.
According to the duo, Wahome only enjoys the support of 5 out of the 78 MCAs in the assembly. 2 days ago, Wahome went to record a statement to the police claiming that the assembly mess had been stolen and that his life was in danger. Wahome is now threatening to institute contempt of court proceedings against the MCAs opposing his comeback.
Now moving on, an update on the ongoing clashes in Isiolo. Isiolo Governor Mohamed Kuti is calling on the national security agencies and elected leaders from the neighboring Garissa and Samburu counties to move with speed and convene peace meetings to avoid further bloodshed. This call coming following fresh clashes between pastoralist communities from Isiolo South with their counterparts from Lagdera in Garissa County.
The renewed clashes between pastoralist communities from Isiolo South and their Lagdera counterparts in Garissa County left 2 people dead and others nursing gunshot wounds. Isiolo governor are now calling for peace talks to tone down the animosity.
Viongozi lazima sasa tuamuke na tuanze kutafutana, viongozi ya Garissa, viongozi wa Isiolo na viongozi wa Samburu. Tuanze kutafutana na kutafuta suluhu.
Kuti claiming that Isiolo has been turned a battlefield by bandits who seem to have some expansionist ideas to try and scare away locals from their ancestral grazing lands.
Watu wanataka kuchukua sehemu fulani ya hii county. Hasa hii mambo ya boda ya Garissa na Isiolo lazima ichunguzwe na tulete hii suluhu kwa haraka sana. Boda inajulikana, boda ya Garissa na Isiolo inajulikana. Haijawahi badilika. Ni provincial border.
The injured are currently admitted at Isiolo County Referral Hospital and Al-Falah Medical Center. Yusuf Farah, Channel 1 News.
Thank you, Yusuf, for that report. Now on to matters crime. A bank consignment with an estimated street value 4 million shillings has been set ablaze at an incinerator in Tendri Hospital in Meru Town. The bank, which was recovered from 2 suspects in Embu Town, was destroyed today after it was presented before the court as exhibit.
A multi-sectoral operation by judicial officials in Embu Law Court and the area police oversaw the disposal of bang worth 4 million shillings. The bang was recovered from 2 suspects by police in February in Embu Town. Embu West Deputy County Commissioner Caroline Imaya lauded the Embu Law Courts for their cooperation, reiterating the need for conjunction by all stakeholders to stop the illegal business, citing the increase in bang peddling in the county. The DCC urged members of the public not to shy from reporting those who were suspected to be trafficking the illegal substance, even as she called on the school administration to be more vigilant as school-going children are more susceptible.
As long as we still have access to drugs, bado wanafunzi wetu pia watakuwa katika hatari. And that is why tunasema this is a joint effort. The parents, the teachers, school administration, the security sector, the judiciary, so that wale ambao wanafanya hii kazi ya kuuza madawa ya kulevya wanaweza shikwa, watolewe katika jamii ili tuweze kupunguza madawa ya kulevya kwa jamii, kwa sababu inaharibu pia watoto wetu.
Elsewhere, residents of GATUANYAGA are calling on authorities in the area to beef up security following a surge of insecurity in the area. Former MCA Cecilia Wamaitha, who visited the victim at her home, condemned the attack and urged the youth to shun criminal acts.
Ningetaka kumuomba mweke security kama jeshi yetu, mchunge wazazi, mjichunge, watu wa kitu kimoja, na Mungu atatusaidia. COVID itaisha, na maisha yatafanya nini? Itaendelea.
Where traders in Ishuga in the outskirts of NANYUKI town are counting losses after dawn fire gutted down their premises. The fire, which is said to have sparked off in a mini supermarket, spread fast to other adjacent shops, destroying stock worth millions of shillings. Among the affected businesses include mini supermarkets, electronic shops, bars and restaurants, boutiques and butcheries.
Residents say the fire started at 5 a.m. and it was difficult to put it out due to lack of water. Camden Mwangi says a prompt response by the LAIKIPIA County Fire Brigade made a huge difference.
Tumepoteza mali ya pesa mingi sana hapa. Kwa sababu hatuna kitu inaweza tusaidia ya moto. Saa ingine sisi tunamuona tu kwa TV. Kiambereria tumesaidiwa sana na LAIKIPIA, tuko na maji kutoka LAIKIPIA, tuko na kitu inaitwa stima kutoka LAIKIPIA. Usaidizi wetu wote tunatoa LAIKIPIA.
Firefighters from the area said to have arrived when the fire had already been contained. Traders called for the firefighting services by the Nyeri government to be brought closer to Narumoru.
Tuomba kaunti ya Nyeri iweze kudeliver fire brigade moja ikuwa area ya Narumoro inaweza tupatia services. Second, sisi kama wananchi wa Ishuga tunajiuliza tunakuwa pande gani. Hata kama tuko kwa boda ya Equita, sisi wanatuhesabu tukiwa Nyeri, wanakuja kuchukua revenue. Na ikifika ni kushikana wanakuja kushikana hapa. Services za maram infrastructure hatujapata.
Police have since launched investigations into what may have caused the fire.
Allow us to take a very short break on KBC Lunchtime News. We are coming back with much more. Please continue also engaging us on social media. Remember, we are posting also some of the stories on our YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1. Visit us there and also engage us on that platform. We are coming back with more news, matters, business and sports in just a bit.
Methali 6:20. Mwanangu, shika maagizo ya baba yako, wala usisahau mafundisho ya mama yako. Yaweke daima moyoni mwako, yafunge shingoni mwako, yatakuongoza njiani mwako, yatakulinda wakati ulalapo, yatakushauri uwapo macho mchana. Maana amri hiyo ni taa na sheria hiyo ni mwanga. Aha.
Ili kupata skiza tune ya Methali 6:20, bonyeza *811 *817 hash. Bonyeza *811 *817 hash.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
A dying person will never lie. And one accomplice of these conspirators, Helena, told me everything while counting her last breath, Father.
The truth is that I sowed the seeds of hatred and envy in Justin. It was my wish to see the crown on his head.
I will give birth to this child only when Ashok will be present. You are putting your life along with the child's life in danger. Call Ashok. Just call Ashok. Ashok.
Asma, and we'll hear a little bit more about that from them. Fellow Kenyans, today the 5th of May 2021, we join the rest of the world in commemorating two very important occasions, the World Asthma Day as well as the World Hand Hygiene Day. The two have a bearing on COVID-19. On asthma, this year's theme is uncovering misconceptions about asthma. The Ministry of Health stands with patients, families, advocates, researchers, and healthcare professionals to raise awareness about this common chronic respiratory disease, the people it affects, and the available interventions and biomedical research being undertaken to prevent, care, and treat it. Asthma is a chronic lung disease characterized by persistent or recurrent symptoms of wheezing, chest tightness, shortness of breath, and coughing. You will realize that these symptoms are the very same symptoms that we put out there for COVID-19. It is a major contributing factor to missed time from school and work. When the disease is uncontrolled, it can lead to attacks requiring emergency room visits and hospitalizations. Sometimes these asthma attacks can be fatal. Asthma, therefore, has important social and economic consequences. This year, we recognize that the COVID-19 pandemic is creating concern and uncertainty for many people around the globe, including those with asthma. While more research needs to be done, it appears that people with uncontrolled asthma are at a risk of severe COVID-19. Avoiding uncontrolled asthma is therefore very important during this period of the pandemic. The World Health Organization recognizes that asthma is a major public health importance. Is a disease of major public health importance. According to WHO, it is estimated that more than 339 million people had asthma globally, and there were 417,918 deaths due to asthma at the global level in 2016. In Kenya, it is estimated that 10% of our population, roughly 4.5 million people, suffer from asthma. Over the years, the World Asthma Day has grown significantly and is now considered the most important asthma awareness-raising event in the world. This year's theme provides a call to action to address widely held myths and misconceptions concerning the disease that prevent persons with asthma from enjoying optimal benefit from the major advances that have been made in the care and treatment of this condition. As we mark the Asthma Day during the month of May, every year we endeavor to focus on educating people and making them aware of symptoms, precautions, treatments, and prevention of asthma. In this regard, we are looking forward to adopting the latest technologies for the diagnosis of asthma in addition to bringing services closer to the people. To commemorate World Asthma Day today, the Ministry of Health has partnered with stakeholders in health, including the Respiratory Society of Kenya and AstraZeneca Pharmaceuticals, to create a partnership that will support the provision of asthma services of the highest quality to all people with asthma in Kenya. As a gesture of goodwill to the government and the people of Kenya on this occasion, I am informed that AstraZeneca are donating 300 nebulizer units and 300 nebulization stations to be availed to our health institutions across the country. These are used.
LCAS Dr. Rashid Aman there addressing members of the Fourth Estate concerning the country's COVID-19 situation, but he's also taking time to talk about another condition that has really proven to be a tall order for the country, and this is asthma. Talking about the global numbers, according to the World Health Organization, that 339 million people have asthma, and in Kenya, he's talking about 10% of the 4.5 million people having this particular condition, just talking about the need for more awareness and efforts to be put in place to address this particular issue. Now, we want to move on. We'll be getting details from Nancy Okware, who is attending this presser. But moving on to other matters, a section of Laikipia residents staged a demonstration to decry poor state of NANYUKI Matanya Road in Chuma area, the Giti ward. The demonstrators attributed 2 recent deaths to the dilapidated status of the road. Police had to intervene to calm the demonstrators.
The poor state of the road has also allegedly triggered a rise in insecurity, with thugs attacking residents at night as they return home from work. During the demonstrations, the residents lit bonfire, barricaded the road with trees, and only allowed a part of the burial procession pass. This included the hearse and family members. Beth Waithera, a resident, says that the road has been in this poor state since 1992, adding efforts to persuade the local government for renovation has proved futile over the years.
Mmoja wetu ametuasha sababu ya barabara. Tumekuwa na kilio tangu 1982. Mimi ni msaliwa wa hapa, nilisaliwa hapa na saa hii sasa niko mkubwa. So tunalia sana sababu hiyo kijana akibiswa huko hospitali na aweze kuangaliwa vizuri. Lakini barabara ikiwa bofu. Sisi tuko na kilio. Leo tukienda hapa tunaambiwa barabara ni ya MP. Tukienda upande ule mwingine barabara ni ya county.
The protesters called upon the county government of Laikipia, led by Governor Ndirito Mureithi and area MCA Mutahi Murito, to repair the roads. Miriam Mwangi, cousin to the deceased, said it is not their first time losing a family member, as one died while being rushed to hospital, and called upon the county government to immediately repair the road.
Amekufa kwa sababu wakati alikuwa anatolewa nyumbani alimaliza masaa matatu kabla afike kwa barabara. Alibebwa na magunia juu hakukuwa na barabara. Sasa saa hii hao vijana wamekasirika juu ni marafiki zake. Kwa hivyo sisi tunaomba hao vijana wasikizwe, hao wazazi wa hii area wasikizwe, sisi kama familia tusikizwe. Hatutaki kupoteza mwingine kwa sababu ya barabara.
The road connects Matanya residents to Nanyuki town. The residents, who are farmers, depend on the road to transport farm produce to town, as well as access critical facilities like hospitals and learning institutions. It took the intervention of the police to open up the barricaded roads.
Away from the grievances of the residents of Chuma area, we now want to take you back to Serena Hotel, where the joint business forum between the business community drawn from both Kenya and Tanzania is currently taking place. Just a few minutes ago, President Uhuru Kenyatta and Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan addressed the stakeholders. We want to get more details from our reporter Gladys Mungai, who has been part of this particular forum. Gladys, a very good afternoon to you. Good to see you. What is it that you have to tell us concerning this forum? What is top on the agenda? What should we expect in terms of trade ties between these two countries?
Good afternoon to you, Serfine. Indeed, like you rightly put it, we are coming to you live from the Serena Hotel here in Nairobi County. We are basically following up on the business forum. This is between Kenya and Tanzania. And you'll also remember, this is the second day of the President of the Republic of Tanzania, Her Excellency Samia Suluhu, in the country. And she has been meeting President Uhuru Kenyatta as well as the business sector to try and unlock opportunities between the two countries. And what was happening at Serena Hotel just a while ago is that there was a business meeting between delegates between the two countries, basically highlighting the challenges and areas each country could tap to ensure that matters trade has gotten and matters development has increased to greater heights. You also remember that up to 2020, the the two countries have been engaging into 33.4 billion shillings in terms of trade, and the deliberations and the bilateral talks that have commenced from yesterday to today is that the two countries are key to double that particular figure. And that particular deliberations at those meetings were concluded by a directive by the President Uhuru Kenyatta directing the two ministries from Kenya, that is the Ministry of Trade and Matters Held, to work to ensure that the deadlock that is currently being experienced at Namanga border is solved, to ensure that lorries move freely from Kenya to Tanzania and vice versa. And to just shed more light into what Kenya hopes to tap into opportunities in Tanzania, I'm joined by the chairman for the Kenya Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Richard Ngatia. He'll be telling us, Richard, welcome on set. We are live on KBC Channel 1. First of all, talk to us about what is your view about the directive by the president to solve the issue at the Namanga border, and also there seems to be sort of some political goodwill for the two countries to engage in trade. What is your take as an investor?
All right, thank you very much. I think today has been a relief after the deliberations that have taken place between the private sector and the government led by the two heads of states. And if we look back in the years, it has not been very easy in both countries trading, and reasons were because of non-tariff barriers, where we had policies that were not favorable to the environment, and where we had bottlenecks in terms of those people trying to trade in between those two countries. We also had issues in terms of non-tariff measures. That is what we call technical issues with government and procurement within those two countries. If you realized that 500 companies have already set base in Tanzania from Kenya. This is purely because it has been very difficult to get to that location, and therefore to cross the border, and therefore people felt easier putting up a second factory other than using what they have here in Kenya. And that also adds costs into doing of their business. But today that has been unlocked because the borders now have been opened, visas are now free, you can be able to get work permits. In terms of those bottlenecks in the borders, they have unlocked them, and we can easily now access those markets. We have had that deliberation that also the private sector from Tanzania will come and also set base and join hands and partner with the local companies in Kenya, so that together we can be able to access different markets, including the African Continental Free Trade Area. Remember, Tanzania can be able to access the market of SADC, that is South Africa, the Malawis and everything. We can be able to access East Africa Community. And both of us can be able to access the Great Lakes region. So together, we can be able to work together so that we see our products, if it's in agriculture, is able to get into those other markets. Again, we have seen that issues in the stalemate that was there in terms of agriculture, the maize that had been locked up because of those tariffs I'm talking about, because of licenses that were being requested and taxes, then has been reduced, and the president has actually now given that direction that within 1 week the entire maize and the entire produce can be released. So we are very happy as a private sector. And again, if you listen to Her Excellency Suluhu, she said today that Kenya has iko na uhuru ya kufanya biashara. Tanzania iko na suluhu ya kuzuluhisha matatizo yote ambaye iko Tanzania. So both, when they join hands, definitely we as the private sector will support the initiative.
Thank you. There you have it, Serfine. That is the chairperson of the Kenya Chamber of Commerce in the country, basically highlighting the areas that the two countries have agreed to work upon. And one of them is the solution of the legal hurdles into solving the issue of setting companies in Kenya and Tanzania to ensure that matters trade are accelerated to another level. And that is the latest from this particular meeting. We'll be giving you more details later in our subsequent bulletins. Back to you, Serfine.
Thank you so much, Gladys. Gladys there talking to Richard Ngatia, the chairman of the Kenya Chamber of Commerce, concerning the deliberations of the Joint Business Forum at Serena Hotel. Now, moving on, conservators in Busia have identified 100 schools in the county to plant tree seedlings to increase the forest cover that is currently at 2%. This as environmentalist Francis Kavisu started a campaign of planting 1 million trees that aims to end deforestation and increase forest cover in Kitui County.
The tree planting exercise in Busia County aims at planting 45 million trees in 2 years' time as a measure to protect the environment. Equity Busia branch manager Oscar Masinde revealed that they have planted over 50,000 trees and calls for residents to join in the noble initiative to boost the region's forest cover.
Tunajua hata kama tunahusika na fedha, sisi ni shirika la fedha, lakini tusipolinda mazingira itakuwa ngumu hata sisi kufanya biashara. Ndio maana tunashirikiana na wakulima ili ku preserve our environment.
Elsewhere, climate change activist Francis Kavisu has started a campaign of planting 1 million trees in Kitui County. Kavisu, who so far has planted over 45,000 trees within the Kitui West sub-county, is now calling upon the partnership of environment-related organizations to join hands together to save the environment.
This is a personal initiative, but we always welcome anyone who wants to partner with us. For us now to achieve the 1 million campaign by 2023, we need more partners. We need more people to come and energize us.
The environmentalist has been donating seedlings to the community, encouraging them to plant more trees to end deforestation and increase forest cover. For Channel 1 News, I'm Jacqueline Masharia.
And more Kenyans risk facing a water supply shortfall due to urban population explosion and environmental impacts on water systems and infrastructure. The KIT General Manager Serfine Achieng says the only way out is to tackle both population pressure and climate change.
With reports indicating that 21 million Kenyans have no access to safe and clean water and sanitation, estimated to cost the country 27 billion shillings annually, stakeholders have been trying to remedy the situation. The urban explosion has constrained the situation, while environmental impacts continue to be the single largest threat to access to clean and safe water. According to KIT General Manager Serfine Achieng, the two factors, if unaddressed by all stakeholders, could exert more pressure on already strained water infrastructure and could erode gains made towards achieving equitable access to clean water and sanitation in the country.
The WASH program estimates that 59% of Kenyans don't have access to clean water, and slightly less, about 29 to 30% don't have access to clean sanitation.
KIT says environmental factors are driving Kenya into great water stress levels, either through deforestation and drought expansion, making environment a big contributor to poor access to water and sanitation.
The impact of water and sanitation in Kenya places huge strain on our people and on the economy. Again, driven by the implications it results in ill health, increased poverty, and low productivity.
The United Nations projects at current rate of drought and environmental stress, 1 in 4 people will have scarcity of clean water access by 2050 if nothing is done.
Now on to matters COVID-19. Residents of Laikipia County have been cautioned against floating COVID-19 guidelines. The county's multi-agency committee on COVID-19 now says that in the last 3 weeks, 250 people have been arrested for floating the containment measures, and with the operation set to continue.
The Laikipia County Multi-Agency Committee on COVID-19 has decried continued complacency by area residents in observing the COVID-19 containment measures. The committee, led by Governor Ndiritu Muriithi, noted that over 250 people had been arrested in the last 3 weeks for disregarding set COVID-19 measures.
Na wengi wakahukumiwa, wakapata fine na mengineo. Na twasema hivyo sio kwa sababu tujigambe, twasema hivyo kusudi tafadhalini sana, hebu tufuate maagizo ya idara ya afya.
Ndiritu lamented that majority of the residents were interacting normally, perhaps oblivious of the danger in their midst. The county boss says that the operation to enforce adherence will continue to prevent a spike in infections in the county.
Valia barakoa, sanitize, osha mikono, restaurants na sehemu zingine zifungwe masaa yanayohitajika, na pia tufike manyumbani kwetu, yani curfew, masaa ambazo zinaeleweka.
Na kwa hivyo tunahimiza watu wote afuate sheria ya Public Health Act ambaye tunapambana na mambo ya COVID-19 ili watu wetu waweze kuepuka na hizi ugonjwa wa corona. Na tunahimiza kila mtu ikifika saa curfew kila mtu awe nyumbani.
Nancy Kware, Channel 1 News.
Thank you, Nancy, for that report. Now on to matters gender-based violence. Public Service and Gender Chief Administrative Secretary Lina Jabi Kilimo has raised concern over the increasing cases of gender-based violence in Bungoma County. Kilimo claims Bungoma is currently ranked as one of the leading counties with cases of gender-based violence, including rape, teenage pregnancies, among other vices.
Public Service and Gender CAS Lina Jabi Kilimo stated that Bungoma had been ranked among top counties with cases of gender-based violence.
In the memory or in the institution of government, Bungoma County is one of those counties ranked with the highest GBV cases. Rape, incest from relatives, battering of wives. Why do you want to lose your temper? Why are you going for the vulnerable? This is not right, what we are happening.
Kilimo noting that the rescue center will play a big role in addressing the menace, and it will be used as an innovation center as well as a life skill training center to those affected.
Hopefully they can gather their thoughts, put their thoughts together with the support of the personnel who will be here. They can be able to pick up the pieces of their lives and start afresh.
Bungoma Women Representative Catherine Wambilianga, who was present, stated that there have been high cases of teenage pregnancies, appealing to the Ministry of Public Service and Gender to intervene and address the grave situation. Bungoma County Commissioner Samuel Kimit called for concerted efforts in the fight against gender-based violence through an all-inclusive approach. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Jackie Wambiru.
And now we cross over to the global scene. U.S. President Joe Biden has laid out plans to vaccinate 70% of U.S. adults by 4th July and roll out the shots for 12 to 15-year-olds as soon as possible. Biden's new goal includes having 160 million adults fully vaccinated by Independence Day.
The U.S. government says the target is well within reach, given that 105 million have already had the COVID-19 jabs, as nearly 1 million adults get vaccinated per day. However, the vaccination rate is half of what it was 3 weeks ago. Meanwhile, the former Minneapolis police officer convicted last month of the murder of George Floyd has requested a new trial on claims that he was deprived of a fair trial. Derek Chauvin's legal team has filed court documents alleging misconduct by both prosecutors and jurors. Chauvin, who was captured on video kneeling on Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes, was found guilty of murder and manslaughter. Elsewhere, Malawians have expressed concern after the water in Lake Malawi turned green in a rare phenomenon. The Fisheries Department has warned fishermen against fishing on the lake, saying it could be harmful. Forestry and Natural Resources Minister Nancy Tembo says the greening is as a result of a bloom in toxic algae that occurred after heavy rains and wind mixed up the nutrients found at the bottom of the lake. Tembo has also warned people to stay away and give the green water 2 weeks to fade away. For Channel 1 News, I'm Omboyo Tiende.
Je, umeomoka? Kama hujaomoka kwenye QuickBin ndio mambo yote. Hapa tuko na fridge, kodi yake ni CM. Tuko na gas cooker, kodi yake ni CK. Tuko na TV, kodi yake ni TV. Tuko na simu aina ya Samsung ni SM, ama Oppo ni Oppo. My friend, mahali popote unanitizama, eka hizo kodi zake kisha utume kwa 4032353. 4032353, alafu utakuwa unaomoka na hizi bidhaa. Kumbuka, kwenye QuickBin ni bidhaa bora zaidi kwa bei ya chini.
Time for us now to cross over into the world of business, and we got news that a regional insurance giant, Jubilee Holdings, will now be renamed Jubilee Allianz after German insurance behemoth Allianz completed the takeover of the Kenyan-based underwriter. Allianz has acquired a 66% stake in Jubilee Holdings General Insurance, giving it a majority stake. According to regulatory filings, Jubilee Holding will now control 34% stake in Jubilee Allianz.
Allianz, one of the world's leading insurers and asset managers, has become the majority shareholder in Jubilee General Insurance Limited in Kenya. This follows the acquisition of a 66% stake, with the Jubilee Holdings retaining 34% of the shareholding. Allianz Africa Chief Executive Officer Conrad expects the transaction to provide leverage for the pair to expand the general insurance business class in the region.
I think the first thing is we are bringing the technological and digital skills that we need in this day and age in insurance.
We've agreed that we will come together in the general insurance business.
Last year, the global underwriter Allianz agreed to acquire the majority shareholding in general insurance business operations of Jubilee Holding in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, and Mauritius. Jubilee Holding Chairman Nizal Juma says a strategic partnership with Allianz will support Jubilee's goal to increase insurance awareness and accessibility across East Africa by providing innovative, affordable insurance products.
It's time for us to now go into the next stage of the growth, which we believe will be exponential.
The penetration of insurance is only 2%. And when you average across East Africa, it is probably less than 1%. Now, we all have a responsibility as a people of Kenya, as a people of East Africa, to ensure that we grow this.
The two companies of Allianz in Kenya, Allianz Insurance Company of Kenya Limited and Jubilee Allianz Insurance Limited, will continue to operate separately until their operations are consolidated into Jubilee Allianz General Insurance Limited, which is subject to regulatory approval.
Moving on, livestock farmers in West Pokot County are counting losses after over 250 cows died in the last 3 weeks in what farmers have said was caused by poisonous weed. Preliminary reports by the County of West Pokot indicate that the cows consumed the poisonous weed due to the prevailing drought that has decimated pasture in the expansive county.
Rotting carcasses of livestock attracting flies in the dusty and cracked earth of West Pokot San. Residents and livestock farmers look on with expressions of defeat and loss at the dissemination of their only source of livelihood. In West Pokot, livestock farming is an important economic activity, now facing a bleak future.
So far, my neighbors have also lost. We are over 24 people who have lost their cows. But I'm the most affected person. So far, I've lost over 34 cows, and most of them were just pregnant cows. So, in fact, this weed is just the weed which is a foreign weed.
The weed in question, Xanthium strumarium, with stout stems, green, brownish or reddish-brown in color, often red-spotted, that are rough and hairy, invades farmlands, roadsides, wastelands, riverbanks and overgrazed pasturelands. The county government of West Pokot now warning livestock owners on the risks of overgrazing.
Sasa pia ni kuhimiza wakulima. Kuanzia sasa hivi tunaenda kuweka mikakati kuhakikisha kwamba tunajuliza wakulima wote wa kaunti ya West Pokot. Na sio kaunti ya West Pokot peke yake.
Officials say animals tend to feed on the plant when they are left to graze alone due to lack of alternatives. Currently, the plant has spread covering 6,000 hectares of land, equivalent to 1/8 of the total area of West Pokot County.
Eradicating this weed, maybe by plucking or mowing the area, and also the use of herbicides to control the weed, maybe for 3 or 4 years.
Farmers are now calling on the county government and the national government to help in restocking, help revive the economic prospects. In Kenya, the plant has been recorded in Samburu, Nairobi and Bungoma, Kakamega, Kisumu, Kisii counties, as well as Tsavo and Meru National Parks. Alan Auko, Channel 1 Business.
Internationally, Facebook's oversight board is set to rule on whether former U.S. President Donald Trump can return to Facebook and Instagram. Trump was banned from both social media sites in January following the Capitol Hill riots that left 5 people dead and hundreds more injured. The board is expected to announce its findings on Wednesday morning, according to U.S. media. Details of this and other stories in our international business news roundup.
Trump, who is also banned from Twitter, launched a new website on Tuesday to update its supporters. Facebook's oversight board was due to announce its decision last month, but delayed the ruling in order to review more than 9,000 public responses to the cases, it said. Wednesday's ruling on Trump is said to be the biggest decision the board has taken since it was formed last year. Elsewhere, German logistics company Deutsche Post raised its financial outlook again on Wednesday after more than tripling its operating earnings in the first quarter, predicting e-commerce will keep booming and global trade will rebound. Deutsche Post DHL raised its operating profit forecast to more than $8.05 billion in 2021 and more than $7 billion in 2023, up from a previous expectation of over $5.6 billion and over $6 billion respectively. Deutsche Post, one of the world's biggest logistics companies, reported its first quarter operating profit jumped to 1.9 billion euros on revenues up 22% to 18.9 billion euros. Finally, India's telecom ministry has left out Chinese equipment makers Huawei and ZTE from its 5G trials, becoming the latest country to lock out the firms. The ministry granted permission to a dozen firms, including Ericsson, Nokia, and Samsung's network unit, to conduct a 6-month trial of 5G technology. Although Huawei and ZTE were not named, they were not banned from supplying 5G equipment to carriers. India is the world's second biggest market by number of phone users.
It's now time for us to focus on matters of sports. Real Madrid captain Sergio Ramos is fit to face Chelsea in tonight's Champions League semi-final leg at Stamford Bridge after training with the team yesterday. Meanwhile, Manchester City reached their first Champions League final as they overcame Paris Saint-Germain at Etihad Stadium to secure a commanding victory over 2 legs.